All right, here's the latest on the alleged toolkit which the BJP says that the Congress made to sully the image of the country and malign the name of the Prime Minister. The Congress had said that this was fake news, that they didn't do anything such as this. They even lodged a police complaint. Now the BJP on a counter-offensive has come out and said that they have proof. What proof? Take a look.
Social media volunteers can call it Modi strain. This is an opportunity to destroy his image and erode his popularity.
A toolkit is back in the news once again. This time, the BJP claims a Congress pandemic toolkit is attempting to tarnish India's image. BJP has alleged that the Congress put out a toolkit for its workers with a single point agenda, that of defaming Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
टूलकिट के माध्यम से एडवाइस दिया जा रहा है कार्यकर्ताओं को कि क्या करना है, खास करके सोशल मीडिया के कार्यकर्ताओं कि सोशल मीडिया में क्या डालना है। प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदीज इमेज को लेकर एक कॉलम बना है और उसमें क्या लिखा है? द अप्रूवल रेटिंग्स ऑफ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी हैज बीन हाई and have not dipped despite crisis and mismanagement. This is an opportunity to destroy his image and erode his popularity.
The BJP highlighted this alleged toolkit, which mentions that the mutant strain should be referred to as the Indian strain or the Modi strain. It also makes a mention of using images of bodies and funerals with the help of foreign media.
Use the phrase Indian strain wherever talking about the new mutant. Social media volunteers can call it Modi strain. जो निर्णय WHO में भी हुआ है उसके विपरीत जाते ये कह रही है कि आप उसको इंडियन स्ट्रेन बुलाइए और तो और उसे मोदी स्ट्रेन बुलाइए.
The Congress, however, outrightly dismissed this toolkit that the BJP has now made public. Congress's Rajiv Gowda threatened legal action and filed a complaint against the BJP. The BJP, though, is defiant. They have now named this woman you see on your screens as the author of the alleged toolkit.
ऑथर कौन है? सौम्या वर्मा नामक एक महिला है जिसका नाम डोमेन एक्सपर्ट ने खोज करके निकाला है. सौम्या वर्मा जो है वो ऑफिस ऑफ प्रोफेसर एम.वी. राजीव गौड़ा, मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, उनसे वो कनेक्टेड है. अर्थात जो AICC रिसर्च विंग है जिसको कि हेड प्रोफेसर गौड़ा करते हैं, उनके रिसर्च विंग के साथ वो कनेक्टेड है. आज आप खुद देख सकते हैं प्रत्यक्षम किम प्रमाणम मोविड पैंडेमिक, अर्थात पूरे विश्व जिसको कोविड के नाम से जानता है, कहीं ना कहीं एक बिल्कुल कंसर्टेड एफर्ट है कांग्रेस पार्टी का इसमें प्रधानमंत्री जी के नाम और भारत के नाम को घसीटने का.
ये मोदी जी का क्लासिकल कॉन्स्पिरेटोरियल ध्यान बटाने का एजेंडा है. कल कोरोना पे डिबेट नहीं हुई, एक फर्जी कागज जो बीजेपी ने बनाया था उस पे डिबेट हुई. अब वो चाह रहे हैं आज फिर ये हो जाए. जीवन रक्षक दवाएं कहां हैं, वेंटिलेटर और आईसीयू बेड कहां है, पर ये कह रहे हैं हम तो फर्जी टूल किट के अंदर पूरे देश को उलझा कर रखना चाहते हैं. देश बेवकूफ नहीं है, देश समझदार है.
ब्यूरो रिपोर्ट, इंडिया टुडे.
All right, viewers. Now the BJP says it has proof to suggest that the Congress actually formulated a toolkit of sorts to sully the name of the country and the Prime Minister. Now they on their turn have released a particular name and said that this woman in question, Soumya Verma, the author of the alleged Congress toolkit, has deleted her Twitter and LinkedIn account. She was the author of it. The BJP leaders have alleged that the Grand Old Party Congress has now rushed to delete the digital footprint of its anti-India activities. The BJP has been launching a blistering attack on the Congress, alleging that the opposition party is using the pandemic to play politics. The Congress says this is all hogwash and nothing of that sort was ever created.
टूलकिट के मामले में कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कल एक FIR लिखाई, आपने नहीं लिखा. क्यों? इसलिए कि आप सच्चाई से डरते हैं, क्योंकि टूल किट की सच्चाई सामने आ जाएगी तो आपके पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष, एक मंत्री और संबित पात्रा सब दोषी हो जाएंगे. मेरी चुनौती है आपको. मैं कोई आरोप नहीं लगा रहा, चुनौती दे रहा कि आप हाई कोर्ट की निगरानी में जो एफआईआर कांग्रेस ने दी है उसकी जांच निष्पक्षता पूर्वक करवा लीजिए, सच्चाई सामने आ जाएगी टूल किट की। ये मानवता को धोखा दे रहे हैं आप, भारत की 130 करोड़ को धोखा दे रही है भाजपा।
All right, viewers, let's get you the very latest right now. This exclusive interview of Army Chief Narawane, General Narawane, by my colleague Manjeet Negi on the current friction points in Ladakh vis-a-vis China.
जिस तरह से पिछले साल चीन अपने ट्रेनिंग एरिया में आया था और उसके बाद उसने अंदर घुसने की कोशिश की, अभी दोबारा उन ट्रेनिंग एरिया में उसके ट्रुप्स नजर आ रहे हैं, उसको लेकर किस तरह से सेना नजर बनाए हुए है?
आपने सही फरमाया कि फिर से वो ट्रेनिंग एरियाज में इनकी मूवमेंट हो रही है, लेकिन ये एक सालाना एक्टिविटी है। हर साल वो भी ट्रेनिंग के लिए आते हैं, हम भी अपने अपने ट्रेडिशनल ट्रेनिंग एरियाज में जाते हैं, तो इसके ऊपर हमारी लगातार नज़र बनी हुई है। और अभी जो फोर्सेस तैनात हैं बॉर्डर पे एलएसी के ऊपर या एलसी के ऊपर, वो काफ़ी तादाद में है और कोई भी अगर एक्शन होता है, एक्टिविटी होता है, तो उसका सामना करने के लिए वो काफ़ी है।
क्या ऐसे हालात नहीं बन पाएंगे कि चीन हमें दोबारा कहीं किसी भी सरहद पर इस तरह का चौंका पाए हमारे सेनाओं को?
मेरे ख्याल से अभी वो उसके जो चांसेस है वो काफ़ी कम है। अभी हमारा डिसएंगेजमेंट भी हुआ है और डिसएंगेजमेंट के बाद ऐसी कोई उसका उल्लंघन नहीं हुआ, ना उनके तरफ से ना हमारे तरफ से, तो अभी स्थिति काफ़ी शांत और नियंत्रण में है और मुझे उम्मीद है कि वो ऐसे ही रहेगा।
Viewers, it's a race against time where the rescue operations are concerned at the back of the aftermath of Cyclone Taukte. 53 people are still missing in the Arabian Sea after two barrages that had gone adrift. Unfortunately, 22 bodies have been recovered, 88 have been rescued till now. INS Kochi arrived this morning with those rescued from the sunk barges at Mumbai's naval dockyard. Indian Navy ship Beas, Betwa and Tej have also joined operations. All of this as Navy launched the biggest manhunt after Cyclone Taukte set adrift 3 barges and an oil rig in the Arabian Sea. During the search and rescue operations, 137 crew members of Gaul Construction, which ran aground north of Mumbai, were also rescued. All right, viewers, let's listen in right now to the latest reactions coming in on the rescue operations.
Can you just bring us up to date with the status of the operations as of now?
We've just joined back in Mumbai this afternoon. As you're aware, our operation started on the 17th, which was the day before, 17th of May, when the ship had deployed along with other ships of the West Naval Command. Currently, the operation, as you said, is still underway. We have about 6 naval units, ships in the area. We have some aircraft. We have a P-8 flying there. We have Sea Kings and ALH helicopters. Our searches are being augmented by assets from the Mercantile Marine, some of them as well as from the Indian Coast Guard. These operations, like you said, are still ongoing.
So how challenging were the air operations considering the circumstances and the weather? Because the helicopters obviously have to play a very important role in an operation such as this.
That's true. Air operations get far more sensitive in adverse weather conditions. So what the Navy did was to get the helicopters to fly out of bases here in Mumbai. We had a P-8 which flew all the way from Arkoram in Tamil Nadu. And we had, like I said, rotary wing, Sea Kings and ALH flying off from Mumbai. So they were able to come out to the area, look for the survivors, continue the search there, and then pick up people at sea as well and come back. Both these air operations as well as surface operations for ships require, obviously, you'd agree, a fair amount of skill and a high level of risk-taking ability.
All right, viewers, let's listen in right now to the voices of all those people who were rescued, who were on board these barges.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद वो लोग को, उन लोग के लिए तो आज हम जिंदा है, नहीं तो कोई नहीं बचता।
आपके बाकी साथियों की स्थिति के बारे में बता पाएंगे कुछ? जो अभी
वो हमारा जैसा ही स्थिति है सबका।
आप अपनी जान कैसे बचाए, कैसे कूदे समुद्र में?
अब क्या करते, जब बाज डूब रहा था तब कूदना ही पड़ेगा। या तो
लाइफ जैकेट पहने थे उस समय?
हाँ, उस समय लाइफ जैकेट पहने था।
आप समुद्र के पानी में रहे?
मैं 11 घंटे समुद्र के पानी में रहा हूँ जी। इसके बाद में नेवी वालों ने आके हम लोगों को बचाया है।
All right, let's move on right now to the vaccine rollout plan. The government right now has accepted the recommendation of the government-approved panel on deferring the time of vaccination for those who have recovered from COVID. The centre accepted the health panel's recommendation to introduce a 3-month gap for COVID-19 recovered patients to get the jab. The Health Ministry further said that COVID-19 patients who have been administered anti-SARS-CoV-2 antibodies of convalescent plasma will also be vaccinated 3 months after their date of discharge from a hospital. If a person contracts COVID-19 after receiving the first dose of the coronavirus vaccine, they would also have to defer their second vaccine dose by 3 months after recovery. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 vaccination panel has reiterated it is safe for lactating women to get their jabs. All right, viewers, there have been lots of models that have been formulated which project the peak of the virus in a particular state. Now, as per the Sutra model, Tamil Nadu, Assam, Punjab, 3 states which will witness their peak in the coming days.
The worst is over in Delhi, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh. All of these states have well passed their peak. A mathematical model has suggested this has been done by IIT scientists. Big states like Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and Assam are yet to see their peak.
Well, for Punjab, I believe we are very close to the peak. We may already be there, but we just have to wait and see for a few days. But it certainly looks to be really close to peaking. Tamil Nadu is still climbing up. Our model currently projects a peak towards the end of this month. But since they have recently gone into a significant lockdown, that may change things. We have to wait and see for a few days to understand really how the revised trajectory will look like. But for now, our model is suggesting May end.
The model suggests that Tamil Nadu may see a peak between the 29th of May and the 31st of May, while Puducherry may witness a peak between the 19th of May and the 20th of May. States in East and Northeast are yet to see their peak. Assam may see a peak between the 20th and the 21st of May, the model suggests. What about other places in the Northeast?
Meghalaya, we project to peak sometime towards the end of this month. Tripura is going to peak sometime from now towards the end of this month.
In the north, Himachal Pradesh and Punjab are witnessing a surge in cases. Himachal Pradesh may see a peak in the cases by the 24th of May and Punjab by the 22nd of May. States like Maharashtra, UP, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, Kerala, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Gujarat and Haryana, besides Delhi and Goa, have already seen their peak.
महाराष्ट्र, केरला, राजस्थान, यूपी, गुजरात और छत्तीसगढ़ में एक कंटिन्यूड ट्रेंड टुवर्ड्स डिक्रीज इन एक्टिव केसेस भी नोट किया जा रहा है. दिल्ली जैसे हम आप लोगों की दृष्टि में लाना चाहेंगे, वह वीकली पॉजिटिविटी 25% से घटकर अब 13.6% हो गई है. मध्य प्रदेश 24.2 से 15.2% हो गई है. इसी तरह बिहार, झारखंड, यूपी और गुजरात में वीकली पॉजिटिविटी लेस देन 10% नोट की जा रही है।
What about the third wave of the infection? The model says that it is expected in 6 to 8 months from now and the impact of the same could just be cushioned. Mathematical models help predict the intensity of coronavirus cases and policy decisions can be taken on its basis. The Sutra model came into existence last year after the Department of Science and Technology formed a group of scientists to work on mathematical models to forecast the surge of coronavirus. Susceptible, undetected, tested positive and removed approach is what Sutra model follows. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today.
Let me now get you the very latest coming in where the Israel-Palestine conflict is concerned.
General strikes were held in East Jerusalem, Arab towns within Israel, and in West Bank cities on Tuesday. As Ramadan clashes at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, a court case by Israeli settlers to evict Palestinians from Sheikh Jarrah, and the Israeli bombardment of Gaza caused anger amongst Palestinians. Posts on social media bore the Palestinian flag and urged solidarity from the sea to the river. Across East Jerusalem, Palestinian businesses were shuttered. A protest organizer in the mixed Jewish-Arab port city of Haifa in northern Israel told Reuters 90% of businesses in Arab neighborhoods were closed. Jebel Mukabbar resident Dia Rabi'a hopes the strike has the desired effects.
The other side, the Jews, should know the impact of the Arabs. Arabs have a presence in many important fields. Any day they choose not to work, it almost disables the country. They should know that Arabs have a big role in the country.
In the city of Jaffa, resident Danny Malaki deplored the strike.
This strike is unnecessary because the Arabs are not lacking anything, and they try to support Gaza, while Gaza cannot support them in anything.
Overall in Israel, the strike appeared to have little effect on the general pace of commerce or in the high-tech industry. An official at a large supermarket chain in which many Arab workers are employed said its stores were operating as usual, though some deliveries were delayed.
All right, with that, viewers, I'm going to go into a quick commercial break. To stay with us on the other side is our Fact Check segment. Welcome back. You're watching a Fact Check segment where we bust certain myths masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is, you might have seen it on various WhatsApp groups, an image that is floating about suggesting that the Israel Prime Minister has said that, like India, its enemies lie across the border. The fact check on that, he said nothing like that. With that fact check, it's time for us to go into a quick break. To stay with us. Up next is To The Point.